Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmi Shai, Bashem Rakak Wadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the great No Stone that have taught us this truth, and to include the elder bishops on down, Yahweh Bashmi Shai Brakatham, to the elect out there that's forwarding this truth worldwide, and it's your brother Laban. And so what I want to do is I want to get into this video over here. And before I do, fair use, and fair use. Let's play this video.
The president is making phone calls to world leaders with specific requests to cease their interactions with the regime. We are already seeing results. Over the weekend, comments from Iranian leadership clearly acknowledged the effect of this campaign, and nations that facilitate any interactions with the regime should quickly heed our message. Those who stand with the United States will reap the rewards of our partnership. Those who tether themselves to the Iranian regime should expect to share in the isolation of a withering regime.
This is Trump hurdling us quicker to the end of the United States dollar being the reserve currency of the world. That's the real effect here. Okay, so clear sign that the Iran war is not going well and Trump doesn't have a way out. There's no military way out of this. And now they're going to try and do, this is the economic D-Day, meaning they're going to do even more horrible economic sanctions on Iran, which they did last year. Remember, there were people in the streets protesting in Iran, and the reason was because Scott Bessent and the Trump administration had put crippling economic sanctions on them and devalued their currency, so everybody's retirement was worth nothing and their dollar was worth nothing. But that was before the war. So now then they started a war in late February, right? Was it February 28th they started that war? Anyway, and so now, and Trump said it's going to be over in 2 weeks. We're going to be in and out, bum. We killed Ayatollah. We killed his whole family. It's all going to be good. Well, guess what? It's not going well. There's no way out. We're almost all the way out of our strategic petroleum reserves, which means that energy prices, gas prices, and everything's going to go through the roof.
Absolutely.
And we already know that the foreign countries are selling our bonds. So the bonds, which makes our debt much, much more expensive to pay to service. So right now, Scott Bessent, Trump's Treasury Secretary, just gave the most unhinged speech about how the U.S. is unleashing Operation Economic Outcast on Iran and sanctioning every country that does business with them. This is going to backfire. This is going to unleash more economic hardship on the American people. And this is the worst thing in the world that could happen, is that people around the world stop using the United States dollar to buy stuff. Like before the war, Iran used to have to get American dollars to go buy stuff. They don't anymore. Why? Because China's now backing Iran, and they're using, what people are buying and selling oil in the Chinese currency. So let's listen to his crazy speech.
It is no longer acceptable to operate in the gray spaces of this conflict. Countries cannot claim they are blind to enabling this activity. Iran's enablers purchase, transport its petroleum. They facilitate the flow of its finances through exchange houses and free trade zones. They welcome Iran's flights and maintain registries on its behalf. They turn a blind eye to seaborne fuel transfers and overland transits. They condone illicit use of their banks, all the while concealing the extent of their complicity. The president is making phone calls to world leaders with specific requests to cease their interactions with the regime. We are already seeing results. Over the weekend, comments from Iranian leadership clearly acknowledged the effect of this campaign, and nations that facilitate any interactions with the regime should quickly heed our message. Those who stand with the United States will reap the rewards of our partnership. Those who tether themselves to the Iranian regime should expect to share in the isolation of a withering regime. Teams from Treasury, State, and the U.S. military are now meeting with their global counterparts to tell them that the United States expects action. Every country has a defined timeline to shut down activities we have identified. If they do not take action, we will do so unilaterally through Treasury authorities.
So in other words, they're going to sanction all of these nations that don't, put in that work, so to speak, and act accordingly. Because before, America's allies didn't act in regards to the war when it begun around February of this year. So what is that going to do? That's going to create more enemies, and as well as Jimmy Dore mentioned, that it's going to cause the dollar to shrink in value majorly, because now you're going to have other nations that's going to drop it. So now the American people have to suffer more inflation. And so there you have it. And speaking about the American people suffering because of inflation, we gotta bring back this over here 3 months ago, what he said. So we're gonna play this video and then we're gonna move forward. This is exact words.
When you're negotiating with Iran, Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing.
So he let it be known. He said he don't think about Americans' financial situation. Why? Because he's in the business right along with the elite to destroy America. And that's basically the agenda at large. And I like this comment that was posted over here. Freedom removed 6,000. The whole purpose is to hurry the U.S. to collapse. And that's what it's all about. So Trump, in regards to their financial situation, like, it's just, he was relatively flippant. He just doesn't give a shit about the American people. First and foremost, he came in as the silly Christians like an equivalent to as the second return of who they call Christ. And now that he's been in power ever since, what we talking now? I think 4 years, the second time around. I think he was reinstated in office back in 22, I believe. Right? I think it's either 22 or 21, or it could be 23. I don't really remember. But anyway, look what he's doing to America. He's plunging America further into the shitter, so to speak. All right. So yeah. What I want to do is I want to read this over here in regards to the sanctioning situation, right? Because that's one way America showed themselves to be cruel and to show themselves the hammer of the whole earth. Like during the time, as I can quite recall, during the Obama administration, I mean, drones were just being dropped from certain countries and stuff. And sanctions were being placed on certain countries. There was a lot of drones dropped, a lot of sanctions was dropped on people from different countries, not different people, but you get what I'm saying. A lot of countries were certain countries that were enemies of America were getting droned. People, innocent people, were dying as a result of that. Sanctions, which is randomly being, as it seems anyway, like you had just sanctions after sanctions that was being put out there. And now what Trump is saying in this case, well, not Trump, but this individual here, which he's speaking for Trump, is that any nation that doesn't coincide with the plan of America, we're even going to sanction you as well. And again, this is all done by design to turn everybody against America so that America can be brought to his knees, to the point where it goes from his knees to falling on his back and never to take a stand again. That's what the whole thing is about. All right. And just like Trump said, he don't give a shit about the Americans' financial situation. Those were his words. So now this leads me to read this. Isaiah 19:4. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the rivers shall be wasted and dried up. And they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of the fence shall be emptied and dried up, and the reeds and the flags shall wither. Because through water you get all of your goods, right? So basically, America is going to be in a very severely straight situation. That's why we keep telling you about Jacob's trouble. You know, they may even as well orchestrate a famine. A lot is going to happen, man. A lot of stuff is going to happen on the soils of America before America's end, and even elsewhere around the world too. But the focus is on Babylon and what have you. So I mean, this man, as time progresses, he's really showing who he really works for, and he's showing that he really doesn't give a shit. You know, he's very uncaring with his way of doing things correctly geopolitically. He has no diplomacy whatsoever. He just doesn't give a shit. He don't care. All right, because at the end of the day, it's not about the American people. It's not about you supporting the country. And I'm really speaking at Trump. It was never really about America. It was really about making all of the wrong moves. And it's been like that for all of them. Like, they've all had assignments to fulfill in destroying the country. And that's what each and every last one of them have done. You know, so all Trump has done, he's just finishing off where Sleepy Joe Biden left off at. That's all it is. All right. And whether it's to do, and it doesn't really matter whether it's right wing, left wing. I mean, they're telling you based on these terms, right wing, left wing, it's the same goddamn bird. What do I mean by it's the same damn bird? Meaning that it's the same system. It don't matter what party you claim to be a part of. It don't matter if you're a part of the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. These parties are engineered, man, by the powers that be, and they're controlled by the powers that be. Okay, they've been engineered and set up so that you can believe in this false notion of your democracy when it never really existed any doggone way. And with this lie of democracy, they can lead America down to no return by you voting this guy in and this and that, and then once he gets voted in, what is he gonna do? He's gonna bring the country to the lowest condition that they can bring it to the point where there's no more of it, like I said. All right, and that's the agenda. All right, all of them had an assignment and they fulfilled it, and Trump is fulfilling his assignment, as he even said it himself, that he may very well be the last one, and I believe it. I believe that's true. All right, so anyway, this is Psalms 94 verse 23. He shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, the Lord Yahweh, our power, shall cut them off. And that's one way they're going to do that, is by destroying America economically. You know, that's one way the Lord is going to cut America off from all of the nations, and then America's going to be left to themselves to rot. And then the missiles are going to finish them. So that's all I got to say with this, man. Just going to keep this short real quick. Giving all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmi Al Shai, Bashim Rakak Wadash. And with that, I'm going to close with this one, man. Shalom.